What is autology? It is a method, a self-improvement discipline based on life and human knowledge, organized by precise logics, axioms, and techniques aimed at improving the way you handle life. Autology simply means the study of oneself. If you want to know more about our work, check the links in the description of this video. Thank you for watching and being here in the first place. We're trying our best to keep this channel up to date with new and interesting content that can help you understand better life, men, and knowledge itself. First of all, I will assume that if you're here, you probably need answers about the human mind and condition, since this is the basic purpose of this channel. Some people need help and feel that they are in a bad position in life. Some people want to improve, and others are just curious, which is a very good thing, by the way, since curiosity is the first step to knowledge and subsequently to improvement. Every one of us has a state and condition in life as we walk our paths. Some of you are in a difficult situation and are seeking ASAP a way out of it. Some of you are looking for answers, but don't know where to find them, and others just want to improve and ascend more and more in life. Whatever position you find yourself in, I can assure you of two things. One, it is perfectly normal to seek any improvement in life. It is what makes us human and life interesting, and also a challenge. Two, we may all search for the same things in life, but what distinguishes our paths from each other is the condition and state in which we find ourselves at the present moment. A state in autology, logic, and terminology is considered where you are as an individual. For example, you understand a lot about life, so we could say you are in a state of knowledge. You're knowledgeable. We could also call that your level of awareness. A condition in autology, logic, and terminology refers to how you are in the present moment as an individual. For example, you could be in a state of knowledge, but for some reason, be in a condition where you feel depressed. It could be from an external factor because a lot of times our condition does not reflect our innate state of being. I just wanted to clarify those two words since I consider them to be core concepts of our discipline. In the current status of our civilization and context that we live in, we discovered that more and more people are either in one of those two extremes. The ones who want to escape a very painful life but just don't know how, and the ones who want to take it all and conquer life at the best of their abilities. Neither of them is wrong, and neither of them is superior in confrontation to the other. It is simply a matter of current state and condition. But many studies show that nowadays mental illness, depression, anxiety, fear, psychosis, and so on are more present than ever in our modern civilization. There are many reasons for that, but the main one is the absence of education and knowledge about how life works, about knowledge itself, and in the first place, about what a human being is. To put that simpler, we are not given a manual book on how life works when we go to school. And a lot of times our parents are simply not prepared to walk us through life, giving us the best education, training, and advices possible. That's because mostly of times, them themselves could not get access to such education and knowledge. Then we find ourselves at the mercy of life, gambling against it. Sometimes people are luckier and it works as far as it can work. But in most cases, we find ourselves soon enough drowning in a sea of failures and regret. Let me tell you that it is not your fault, but like it or not, the way life works, it's still your responsibility to work it out and find a way out of the dark. Yes, there is no fairness at all in the game of life. When you're born, it is all casual. You could be born in an amazing place with an amazing family, but you could also be born with terrible parents and in a bad place. Life does not care. You'll have to figure it out by yourself, and the context that we live in does not solve the problem at all, as mentioned before. Here we get to the core theme of this video, the context. What is a context in autology terminology? I will now suppose that many of you are also gamers, so that I can give you an easy example. The context is like the map and/or the rules that you're playing with. Those rules and mechanics that we are subjected to are not helping us achieve happiness and mental stability. For a more concrete example, think about all the institutions which lowers basic human abilities, or stats if you're a gamer, as attention, social media, and brain-rotting shorts on TikTok and similars. Discipline, porn, woke culture, hedonism, society expectation, and social game. The more likes and attention I get, the more I'm valuable as a person. Reward mechanics inverted. The more you work, the less money you make, whereas other people which scam or sell their bodies makes more than 10 times in a day that you make in a month. And so on. I could continue with a lot more examples and show how any of those life traps, as we call them, can minimize your abilities and psychological condition. Normal therapy tends, not always, to be somewhat directly or indirectly connected to this context. Thus, they will, by mechanics, not give you solutions out of the context, but inside the context. And I will again assume if you're here, you want a way out of the context. Now, you have an idea of what we mean by context. This context that we live in just makes things way worse than they should be. Society and its government, politics, humanities, and every institution that should help men are not doing it or are not doing it effectively. There are a lot of organizations that help men, but normally they are not statal organizations like the school itself. So most of the time you find yourself clueless about life, full of problems and needing to handle all by yourself since society is not only not helping, but posing more barriers between you and your freedom, be it any kind of freedom, spiritual, economic, personal, and so on. The context is simply leading you into the life traps mentioned before, or at least not giving you the knowledge necessary to handle or avoid them. So yes, you are a victim, but you can't victimize yourself. As unfair it may seem, as said before, you have to take responsibility for your condition and handle it yourself. But fortunately, we are here for you. The first thing to understand is that in order to improve our life and live to the fullest, we have to understand our life and men's work. That is the primary error of this world. Men have no idea about who he is, and most of the things in the mainstream society are exactly aimed at rendering him always more incapacitated in action and depressed. I know that a lot of you feel that somehow the suppression and the unfairness of the context we live in, even though you can't translate that in words, but no worries, we are here to do the job for you and help you with that. How do we solve a problem? First, being able to identify it and its correct origin, observe it for exactly what it is, and not for what we think it should be, and then acknowledge its existence. Then we can do something about it. Here we have one of the most important axioms of autology: identify, observe, acknowledge, and handle. Those elements form the mechanics on how to solve a problem. Many of you know that something is wrong. You want to do something about that, but you don't know why. You even blame yourselves most of the time, which is perfectly understandable. We know that grown-up men tend to take accountability for things and solve them. That's admirable and totally fair. But don't be so hard on yourself. There are many and many external factors and a context that is really pushing hard to bring us down to misery, most of the time under the guise of individual liberty. Life is composed of many traps, and if we don't know the existence of those traps, we are at the mercy of them. Remember what I said about the mechanics of a problem. You can't handle it if you don't identify it, observe for what it is, and acknowledge its existence. So before you seek help, especially from a therapist which willingly or not is connected to this context, under the laws of the same society that suppressed and incapacitated you, I'll invite you to give us at least one chance to show you how are you affected by the context and how to get out of the traps that are impeding you to live a better life, achieve your goals, and most of all, to be free and happy. Ask yourself, how many times has the context failed and impaired me? How many times does our society push us down and the institutions that are meant to do their jobs are not doing them, and further causing us problems? The core logic here is you cannot be happy playing by rules that are made to make you depressed. Autology is meant for people who want to stand above this context and out of this system. It is meant for those who already understand the bug in our society and its educational and humanistic systems. I know, for example, that for a lot of you, our mental institutions have failed you. That's why you're looking for something new here. And even if not, try to give us a chance by watching our videos and learning more about this new discipline. Remember, society has failed you, and the context is not your ally. In the next video, we're gonna analyze more deeply what we mean by life traps and human conditions and states. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button if you appreciate our content. By doing it, you will be helping us, but most of all the people who find themselves in the same condition as you. Let us move forward together because in ontology, we are a team and everyone matters.